Hello, my name's Liz and I'm here today to show you how to do the purl stitch. So the first video we did we cast on, and then I showed you how to do the knit stitch, and by doing lots of rows of that it made a garter stitch. But by incorporating a purl row you'll be able to create what's called a stockinette stitch. So we'll get straight into it, and what we need to do is we're going to put our right needle into the stitch, but we're going to bring it to the front and make a cross at the front, whereas when we did the knit stitch we put the needle to the back and made a cross. So I'll do that again. So that went from up, this one goes down the stitch, so down we go, and then we're making our cross with our right hand needle in the front and our left hand needle in the back. And with our working yarn, what we're going to do is just put it through between that cross again, but we're going to wrap it around this front needle. So we need to bring it around and wrap it around that front needle. And then like before, we're going to push that down and we're going to grab the yarn that we've wrapped, so you can just see it through the back here. So we're going to, as we push that needle down, we're just going to grab that bit of yarn onto our right hand needle, which is now at the back of our work. And then we're, like before, we're going to slide that stitch off. And that's our first purl stitch. Now I'm going to do another one. So again, we go down through the stitch and create a cross with our right hand needle in the front. And then we want to take our working yarn and we want to place it between those two needles and then wrap it from back to front around this right hand needle. And so now we've caught it, so we need to push that down and just make sure we catch the piece of yarn on the very end of our needle, like that. The cross is now with the right hand needle in the back, and then all we do is slip that stitch off. And as before, as we work, make sure these stitches on the right hand needle are pushed down and spread out, and these ones that you work up the needle, bring up the needle as you're working. Now I'm going to do a few more of those slowly for you, and then what I do is I will skip to the end of the row so I can turn, and then we can do the knit stitch on the way back. So purl stitch on this back side of the work with all the bumps, although there's bumps on here at the moment, that's because I showed you how to do garter stitch, but you'll see the difference as we go along with the stockinette stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to do a few more for you now. There, so we're at the end of our row, and that's our last stitch, which we'll just take off. We'll just pull that down slightly so it's not all bunched up. And then what we need to do, as we did in the previous videos, is we just need to put our needle that's in our right hand at the moment into our left hand, because we now want to transfer all the stitches from this left hand needle back onto this empty right hand needle. Okay. So when you look here, whereas we had the bumps before, we've got the little gap in between, and you can see the stitch in between there. It looks like a little V. Okay, and that's what's happened here. You can see that we've got these little V's. Now we're going to do the knit stitch, which we did in the second video. Now what we need to do there is needle up through the stitch rather than down with the purl, and the cross is at the back, right hand needle at the back, left in the front. Take a piece of yarn, working yarn, again mind this towel, you can hold that out of the way if you want to, but now what we need to do is take the yarn from the front, round the back and through the middle of the needles, and then catch that yarn again like we were doing with the purl and the knit. There it is, and then just take that off the needle. So I'm going to do just a couple of those slowly as a bit of a recap, and then I'm going to work to the end of the row. Okay, we're just getting to the end of this row. There's our last couple of knit stitches. And what we're going to do is going to turn our work again, and as you can see this stockinette stitch is looking very different now to these bumps. Okay, so here we go. To turn our work, we're going to put the needle with the work on it into our left hand, and with the right hand needle we're going to put that in our right hand, and now take all of these stitches off and put them onto here, but using purl again. And when you're doing stockinette stitch, you can tell which row you're on, because it's the row with the bump showing is a purl row, because this is what our purl stitches look like. And if we turn this just back round again, so this is our stockinette stitch, and our knit row is the ones that look like you've got these little V's. Okay, so now we're going to do a purl row. Again, I'll just do a first couple and then we'll skip through to the end, ready to turn again. Okay, so we're just coming up to do this last stitch on our purl side with all of our purl bumps, and then we're going to turn the work again. Needle with the work on in our left hand, empty needle in our right hand, so we can transfer them over again. Okay, so you can really now see the difference in what the fabric looks like from when we did just knit stitch, which was our garter stitch, and it was all bumps. We've now got this smoother side with V's. Now this is just going to be another knit row, which I've done with you before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with this, and then what I'll do next time is I'll show you how to do ribbing, which starts a lot of projects off. If you wanted to knit a jumper, they normally say you cast on and then you rib. I should carry on using this piece of fabric, but it will consist of a cast on row, which we've already done, and then we'd go straight into the ribbing, and you can do 1 by 1 rib and 2 by 2 rib, but we'll go into that in much more detail in our next video. Now if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram as Myrtle Knits. I've also got another channel on there, and it's called Just Grow With It, because I've got my own vegetable garden going for this year. I'm going to try and see if we can grow a few vegetables. So if you want to see how that goes, you're interested in vegetable growing, come and join me. And that's really it for today. I'm going to have a bit more of my tea and enjoy my scented candle, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.